Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Yeah.
I'm going to start different than I was planning on it because I want to address what both you and Mel address. I am Mark. I have a name tag that says so. And I hate wearing name tags. I really do. I don't like them. But one of the things I know is that when I first got here, and it wasn't here that I first got, it was all the way back on Unity and Merritt Island, because the tall guy said, no, you might like it over here. You know a lot of the people already. So we went to go see a movie. What the bleep do we know? And I saw that I did know a lot of the people in the community, and I wasn't really looking for religion, but I wanted community, so I went, and then I fell in love with everybody. But I didn't always know their names. So Sue's asked that we all wear name tags, because I've been a member of this community for a while now, and I'm just this year starting to learn some of the other names. And some of that's my fault if I didn't ask. I'm just as human as every one of you, as far as that weird shyness we have about going, what was your name again? I know you told me, but I spaced out. But now I can actually say that I do know the names in the room, and some of it has been because we started doing name tags. So I invite you to our name tags, even if you think we already know you. Because as each new person does come in, it does help let them know. Because I'm a visual person. If I read it, it sticks in one of these cogs in here. So anyway, I just wanted to add that because we are a community that's growing. Sometimes our members go one way, and it opens the door for new members to come in. And if we're simply in transition, then Ahomataki Asen will honor that. Invite someone to come. Invite someone to come share the joy. When I first started coming up here and speaking, I was always nervous. But your eyes have taken that away from me. So I invite you guys to do this too, because it's been a very interesting journey. It really has. You know, I'm taking this class with Sue, and she told me a couple times, she's like, you may not need it because you've come and done this really naturally, but I am learning stuff. And what I'm learning is the power of being even more present with each other. And just going, I may not know what's coming next. Especially today, because this was a real quick thing. But that's okay, because I'm up for the challenge. Negotiate. You know what I've determined recently? That I know a lot of crap about the 4D world and the 5D world, but I get all tripped up in this 3D world every single day. And so, excuse me as I untrip myself here, because I'm a talker. Moly. Do you guys know, have you understood Coyote yet? Do you now understand how Coyote loves me, works with me, dances with me, plays with me, sleeps with me?
Messes with me.
So, thank you. I've been really enjoying Sue's series of the Buddhist path, the Buddhist living. And for me, I've always hated religion. I say hate loosely because we can go on a whole talk just about that word. But Buddhism isn't a religion. It's kind of like a little life guide. It just teaches you how to walk with serenity. But there's a lot of different kinds of wisdoms in the world, and that's what today's talk is going to be about. How wisdom comes. This is a book called Wisdom Keepers. Some of you may be familiar with this. It's a compilation of stories from Native American elders compiled by Steve Wall and Harvey Arden, who went on a journey across America and visited some of the reservations and talked with some of the Native American elders and got their stories from them. None of this happens in class. But what does happen is the ability to be able to know, worry about it. Because it's no big deal. Uh, Didn't know you were going to get comic relief. And going all the way back 20 years ago to my first workshop, I couldn't stand still in it. Today I can just stand right in and let it happen. Margie knows what I mean. She was there. Here's my bookmark.
Aww.
Did you ever wonder how wisdom comes? This is a story by Leela Fisher, one of the Native American elder women on the res that they visited that day. There was a man, a postman here on the reservation, who heard some of the elders talking about receiving objects that bring great power. He didn't know much about such things, but he thought to himself that it would be a wonderful thing if he could receive such an object, which only can be bestowed by the Creator. In particular, he heard from the elders that the highest such object a person can receive is an eagle feather. He decided that was the one for him. If he could just receive an eagle feather, he would have all the power and wisdom and prestige he desired. But he knew he couldn't buy one, and he couldn't ask anyone to give him one. It just had to come to him somehow by the Creator's will. Day after day, he went around looking for an eagle feather. He figured one would come his way if he just kept his eyes open. It got so he thought of nothing else. That eagle feather occupied his thoughts from sunup to sundown. Weeks passed, then months, then years. Every day, the postman did his rounds, always looking for that eagle feather, looking just as hard as he could. He paid no attention to his family or his friends. He just kept his mind fixed on that eagle feather, but it never seemed to come. He started to grow old, and still, no feather. Finally, he came to realize that no matter how hard he looked, he was getting no closer to the feather than he had been the day he started. One day, he took a break by the side of the road. He got out of his little Jeep mail carrier and had a talk with the Creator. He said, "I am so tired of looking for this eagle feather. Maybe I'm not supposed to get one. I've spent all my life thinking about that feather. I've hardly given a thought to my family and friends. All I cared about was this feather. And now life has just about passed me by. I've missed out on a lot of good things. Well, I'm giving up my search. I'm going to stop looking for that feather and start living. Maybe I have enough time left to make it up to my family and friends." Forgive me for the way I have conducted my life. Then, and only then, a great peace came to him. He suddenly felt better inside than he had in all these years. Just as he finished his talk with the Creator and started getting back in his Jeep, he was surprised by a shadow passing over him. Holding his hands over his eyes, he looked up into the sky and saw, high above, a great bird flying over. Almost instantly it disappeared. Then he saw something floating down, ever so lightly on the breeze. A beautiful tail feather. It was his eagle feather. He realized that the feather had come not a single moment before he had stopped searching and made his peace with the Creator. You finally learn that wisdom comes only when you stop looking for it and start truly living the life the Creator intended for you. The postman is still alive and he's a changed person. People come to him now for wisdom. And he shares everything he knows. He no longer cares about such things. He's concerned about others, not himself. So now you know how wisdom comes.
How about getting off of these antibiotics? How about stopping eating when I'm full up? How about them transparent dangling carrots? How about that ever-elusive kudo? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, silence. How about me not blaming you for everything? How about me enjoying the moment for once? How about how good it feels to finally forgive me? How about grieving it all one at a time? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, silence. The moment I let go of it was the moment I got more than I could handle. The moment I jumped off of it was the moment I touched down. How about no longer being masochistic? How about remembering your divinity? How about unabashedly bawling your eyes out? How about not equating death with stopping? Thank you, India. Thank you, Providence. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, nothingness. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence. Yeah. Oh, and I thank you for this. I thank you for this. And I thank you for this. I thank you for this. And I thank you for this.
Bless all